Maryland, USA, Dakota State University, USA, Durham University, United Kingdom. As you have handled so many administrative responsibilities in such a short career, I must say that your hardworking attitude will definitely take you to the more heights in the coming future. You have never-ending thirst for knowledge, and we, on behalf of SGT University, wish you a great future ahead. With this, I ask all to join me in welcoming Dr. Dharmendra Kumar Yadav. Today, he would be sharing his thoughts on SPSS tools. In today's time, every researcher should have knowledge about some of the statistical tools. And with my little knowledge, I feel SPSS is amongst the top most sorted research tool. So for all the researchers from all the disciplines, the talk shall be the enlightening opportunity. Without taking more time, I would invite Dr. Dharmendra to start with today's talk. Wishing you all a happy learning. Over to you, sir. Welcome, Dharmendra, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your generous introduction. And it's nothing, only just some little contribution to the statistics fraternity and my academic. It's just because of my, interest in academic and research.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So now you are being generous now, sir.
Thank you. And really, it's really a great privilege for me to be invited in the one of the prestigious university of Delhi NCR, or you can say in India, that is SGT University. I have so many friends in because one of our senior colleague is working there in the medical faculty. So because I think there is just near to that, there is some medical institute. So we have to go there. So anyway, I'm thankful to organizers for giving me this opportunity to invite me and to share my knowledge and views, and give me opportunity to share the knowledge on statistics. Actually, I just want to share my screen because I'm not going in very much depth in the SPSS, but since it's a statistical tool, so I will talk about a statistical tool that is widely used for the forecasting purpose. Because in the last 1.5 years, you have seen that when COVID pandemic has started, then many of the agencies or news channels were started, or research started in this field of COVID-19. So they started making the prediction that in this month, in the upcoming 2 months, 3 months, the number of cases of COVID cases will be like this, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, or like that. So from where they can predict which particular method they have used. So today I will just talk about that. So it's a very important statistical technique that is called time series analysis. So perhaps you might know about this technique, and it is very widely used for forecasting, or you can say that the prediction. So I'm just sharing my screen.
Ravi, I cannot see anything. Is that visible to you?
Yeah, now I think it is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible now. It is visible now.
Thank you. So forecasting using time series analysis. So forecasting means what is the based on some previous data or previous experiences, what you are talking about the future, that is prediction. That is called forecasting. So in statistics, we have a very powerful tool that is called time series analysis. So I will just, in the first half, I will talk about the basic concept of time series analysis. And in the second half, I will do some hands-on session on SPSS. So how will this forecasting technique is applied in SPSS? As you all know that SPSS is a very powerful and widely used statistical software, and it's very easy to handle. So I'll just, what is the time series actually? In this session, first of all, I will introduce that what is time series. what are different components of time series, what are the different models of a time series. Okay, so it's a little theoretical or you can say conceptual knowledge of time series. And after that, I will do some exercise on SPSS. How can you perform the forecasting or time series in using the SPSS? So actually, in our day-to-day life, we have seen that there are some time-related data. Time-related data means the data which is associated with some time factor. It means it changes with the time. It may be, suppose we have data of COVID patients day-to-day data. That is a time series data, but this is called time-dependent data. Okay, so and the another one is the total population, or you can say the COVID patients in different states of the country. This is also time-dependent data. Okay. So what is the difference between both of them? So the first one, which is according to the time series at the different time points, that is time series data. But at the same time point, that data is called cross-sectional data. And the another is panel data. So panel data is nothing, only the hybrid of time series and cross-section. So what is time series data? So basically, time series data is nothing, only a data which is arranged in a particular time period, or you can say in a chronological order. It is set, or it is arranged in a time manner, or you can say that it is a chronological order over a given period of time. Like what is the population of India in the last 10 years, from 2010 to 20, or 2001 to 2010. So year-wise, this population. So this is type of data is called time series data. Similarly, if we have the COVID confirmed cases in India at day-to-day life, or month-wise data, we have the month-wise data. Yes.
So please open your camera. Sir. I can't see your camera.
Switch on.
Yes, sir, please, sir.
Okay, actually there was a network issue, na, that's why I.
Okay, no issue, no, sir, please. No issue, no issue. Please.
Okay, so can I open it?
It's no, sir, no, sir. If there's a issue, network issue, then please open it.
Yeah, because organizers tell me na, that the network issue, so because it will take much internet, na.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay, so no issue.
Thank you, sir.
So basically, this time series data refers to a set of observations taken over a given period of time at a specific and equally spaced time intervals. That the observations are taken at a specific point in time means time intervals are discrete. So basically, when we were this time series data refers to a set of observations. It means we have taken the observations, but over a given period of time at specific and equally spaced time intervals. It may be the time interval of 1 year, it may be the time interval of 5 years. So there is a time interval, and it may be equally spaced. Okay, we have collected the observations, and we have arranged it in a chronological order, or you can say that it is in a time dependent manner. So these observations are called, or this type of data is called time series data. And perhaps you might know what is there are two types of random variables in statistics we deal with. One is that is discrete, another is continuous. Okay, so continuous and discrete, two types of variables are there. So what are continuous? Continuous is that variable which can take any possible value within a given interval. It means it can take each and every value. So just like weight of students or age of students in a class, it may be 20 years, 21.5 or 21.6, so 21 and 6 months. So it can take the fractional values also. It can take each and every value. This is called continuous data. Okay, but many times we cannot measure, but we can count the variables, like total number of students in a class, so total number of patients in a hospital. These are called discrete variables, and these cannot be measured in fractions. They are always integer, so they are called discrete. or they can be counted. They can be count only. They cannot be measured. So these are time series data. We have our intervals are discrete. Okay. So the time series data is nothing, only a data which is arranged in a chronological order, that is according to a given period of time and equally spaced time intervals. That's it. So this is the particular example, or you can say any other examples related with your experience. So this is the daily or weekly closing price of a stock recorded over a period spanning 13 weeks. So this is the data of closing price of any stock market of 13 weeks, or set of profits, both positive and negative, earned by the Samsung or any other company between the 1st of October 18 to and the 1st of December. So this is data of day-wise data. It will be day-wise data. 1st October, 2nd October, and so on, 1st of December. So this day-wise data is called time series data, or month-wise data is called time series data. Over a different time periods, different time points. So what is the different applications of this time series data? This time series data can be used to predict. The most important thing is what is it can be used for the prediction purpose. If we have past data, by applying certain statistical tools like time series, you can predict about the future values of that phenomenon. Okay, so the first and foremost important application of time series is forecasting or prediction. Values of a given financial vehicle, or it may be the another one. So this data can be used for forecasting of any phenomena. This can be further used for policy making, because you all know that all the policy making are based on certain type of data or certain types of insights, and these insights come from the data. Okay, so if these forecasting techniques will be applied, and we will get some insights, and so on the basis of that insights, policymakers can make some effective policy, which is the used for the welfare of the nation. So time series data has at least one systematic pattern, with the most common patterns being either trends or seasonality. So there are certain patterns which can be observed in a time series. It may be increase in trend, it may be the trend, it may be some fluctuations. So there are certain patterns can be observed in this time series data. Since most trends are linear or quadratic, regression analysis and moving average method are used to establish the linear relationship between variables. Perhaps you might know this particular regression can also be used for the forecasting or prediction. But if you have the time series data, then we go for the time series analysis, not the regression analysis. So in most of the time, in time series analysis, this regression cannot work. So we will go for the time series for the forecasting or prediction. Regression can also be used for the prediction, but not in case of time series data. So seasonality is another component which is associated with the time series. So this seasonality, on the other hand, is a trend that systematically keeps on repeating itself over time. So there is a certain season, it will come after some time, that some festival season or any like. So such type of factors which can affect the time series. So there are numerous modern computer-based programs that are used to analyze time series data. So like SPSS, GMP, SAS, MATLAB, R. So there are so many statistical softwares which can be used for analyzing the time series data. So almost in every statistical software, you will find the package for time series analysis. So today we will talk about the time series in SPSS. So another time related associated data is cross-sectional data. So what is the difference between time series and cross-sectional data? Actually, you remember that I have told earlier that time series data is a data which is arranged in a chronological order at different point of times. It means population from 2000 to 2010. It means 2000 2001, 2002. So these points are different. Okay. So at different point of times, we collect the data that is called time series data. Okay. But if we collect the data at the single point of time, this particular time point is single. So, and we are collecting the data of any particular phenomena. So that is called cross-sectional data. Just like, for example, we are for India, we are taking the population of India from 2000 to 2010. But at the same time, if our time point is single, it means we have a single point of time in 2000 or 2010. In 2010, what was the population of different states of the country? Okay, so this is called cross-sectional data. Why? Because this time point is same for all. Okay, so this is called cross-sectional data. So cross-sectional data refers to a set of observations taken at a single point in time. But this is the basic difference. Here time point is common. For example, the stock returns earned by shareholders of Microsoft, IBM, and Samsung as for the year ended 31st of December 18. So this particular time period, what are the different stock returns of different companies? Okay, here time point is one single time point, that is 31st of December 2018. And we are collecting the information from different companies at that point of time. So this is called cross-sectional data. And the third one is panel data. It is very important because sometimes this time series and cross-sectional data are not used. So we will use the panel data. So it is possible to pool the time series data and cross-sectional data. So in this data, this is nothing only the hybrid of time series and cross-sectional data. Okay, it is a combination of both type of data. If we were to study a particular characteristic or phenomena across several entities over a period of time, we would end up with what's referred to as the panel data. So if we want to study a particular characteristic, okay, so this actually it has its own advantage because this time series data is highly associated with some error component, or you can say that autocorrelation, because each data is associated with the previous data. Okay, so this becomes in the autocorrelation. So it can be reduced by using the panel data. It's like, for example, this is a panel data. And how you can say that it is a panel data? Because it is a hybrid of time series and cross-sectional data. Okay, it is a combination of both. So how you can say that? Here is the data of countries, year-wise, and GDP. So GDP is not mentioned here, but anyway, suppose there is any number of GDP. It may be 10, 10.5 like that. So it has period spanning 3 years from 2015 to 17. Okay, since we are collecting data from 2015 to 17, so it's a time series data. Why? Because the time points are different from 2005, 15 to 17. But at the same time, it is a cross-sectional data also. Why? Because we are considering the data of one country at different time points. And just like 2015 at one point of time, like 2015, we are considering taking the data, GDP data of Kenya. At 2015, we are taking the GDP data of India and Brazil. So since it has different point of time, so it is a time series data, but at the same time, at one point of time, at single point of time, there are take data of GDP of 3 countries is taken together. It means at 2015, we have a data of Kenya, India, and Brazil. So in that sense, it is a cross-sectional data. Okay, in terms of country. But in terms of year, it is the time series data. So this is a combination of both time series and cross-sectional data. So here we would study the group of entities, Kenya, India, and Brazil over a period of 3 years. So it is a panel data, and I have told you why it is a panel data. So what is time series? Basically, I have told you that essentially a time series is a sequence of numerical data which is obtained at regular time intervals, and it occurs in many areas: economics, finance, environment, medicine. Actually, generally it is taken that this time series data is related with the economic areas only. No, it can be applied in medical also. Okay, and I can show you that by using the time series data of last 6 months data of COVID cases, you can predict the next 6 months data of COVID cases. So it can be used anywhere, but the condition is that it should be arranged in a time dependent. It may be days wise, hour wise, minutes wise, or year wise, or month wise. So, but the time factor should be there. So the aims of time series analysis are, what are the aims? To describe and summarize the time series data, and second, fit models and make the forecasting. There are certain models which are used for prediction or for forecasting, like autoregression model and ARIMA model. So there are different models which are basically used for forecasting. So the aim of time series analysis has two components. One, to summarize the time series data, what are different components of a time series. Okay, we will study that components. And second, fit the models and make the forecasting. So in time series analysis, we will study these two objects. So why this particular time series data is different from other data? Like we have another data, different types of data. So why it is so important? Why it is so different from other data? Because in generally, statistical tools, all the statistical tools, they are based on certain assumptions. Okay, because all the statistical tool cannot apply at every data. Okay, so this actually all statistical tools like t-test, f-test, chi-square test, so all the statistical tests which are used, they all are based on certain assumptions. If your data is fulfilling that assumptions, then only can that test can be applied. Okay, and the one of most important assumption which is used by applying the statistical test is that observations are independent. That each observations must be independent. But it is not true in case of time series data. Because suppose we are talking about the population from 2001 to 2005. Then though this time series data is dependent or independent to the previous data? No, it is not independent, because the population of previous year can be also added to this year. So the observations, this time series data observations are not independent at all. So the basic assumption of independence has been violated. Okay, so we have to apply some sophisticated methods of which can look, we can fulfill our purpose. So here we cannot apply the normal statistical test. Okay, that's why we need sophisticated statistical analysis, that is time series analysis. So large sample size are good. It is always said that if you take the large sample, then your results will be adequate. Error will be less. But long time series are not always the best. Why? Because it has some cumulative errors is associated with that time series data. Okay, so these are the two important components which can differ the time series from the other type of data. So this series often change with time. So bigger is not always better. So in time series, this sample size bigger sample size is not preferred. Okay, because it has the cumulative errors. Because each factor, you can say that each year's data is associated with the previous one. So these are the 2 points which says that this time series data is not same or it is different from the other type of data. So what are the users looking for in economic time series data? Why they are using the time series? The important features of economic indicator series include direction and turning points. Okay, so generally you have seen that any graph or line diagram will show the direction of any phenomena. It means if you are talking about the particular price of any commodity of in the 6 months or you can say 1 year, then it will be a increasing trend. So there will be a upward direction line diagram. So this time series indicator will tell about the direction, that whether it is this direction is upward direction or downward direction. So this is used for the know the direction of that phenomenon. And second, turning points. It means earlier it was increasing, then at particular time point it becomes stable, and after that it is decreasing. So these are the turning points. So you can also find out those turning points with the help of time series data. Okay, so you can make it. And why all this stuff is doing? Why we make the time series data and then these components and all these things? I just want to say that these all are doing, they are can be for the decision making or policy making. Because the purpose behind all these statistical analysis is to get the insights from that data. And if any data is not providing any insight, that data has no meaning. Okay, so in addition, we want to see if the series is increasing, decreasing, or more slowly or faster than it was before. So it will give an idea that what is the direction of particular phenomena, whether it is increasing or decreasing, and what are the different turning points at which it will change the nature of that particular phenomena. So this is the users. So when should time series analysis best be used? It can. So what are the different criteria or different conditions when this time series gives the better results? So we must be aware about that. So we do not assume the existence of deterministic model governing the behavior of the system considered. So in time series, the first and foremost assumption is that your model should be not be deterministic. It should be random, because it is always changing. It has a changing in nature. So it should not be deterministic. And second, instances where deterministic factors are not readily available and accuracy of the estimate can be compromised on the need. So because since we have a time series data and it is random in nature, here we cannot apply the some other tools. Okay. So in that case, our accuracy will be compromised. We will only consider univariate time series. So from the forecasting versions, because the forecasting is made at 3 levels. It means it may be for the long term, it may be for medium term, or it may be for the short term. Okay, so this forecasting is done in 3 ways. What is the long term? Suppose if we want to make a 5-year plan or a vision document of a country or a state, then your terms will be long term. That in the upcoming 5 years or upcoming 10 years, we want to make this GDP or the budget of education in this way. So these are the terms. These are the long-term goals. They are made for fulfilling the long-term goals. Like R&D, research and development, plant location, product planning, basically judgment based. So these are the long-term forecasting can be used. And medium term is 1 season to 2 years, like aggregate planning, capacity planning, sales forecast. So these are the medium term goals. And short term forecasting, 1 day to 1 year, less than 1 season. Like demand forecasting, what is the demand of particular commodity in this 1 month or in this quarter. So purchasing and inventory levels. So you can make these short terms forecasting for this purpose. So basically, this forecasting is based on our needs. Okay, what are our goals? So on the basis of that goals, we can make the forecasting accordingly. So as you know that these are some examples of time series data, like number of babies born in each hour. So it is hourly data, daily closing price of a stock. It is a day-wise data, the monthly trade balance of India for each year. It is a year-wise data, GDP of a country measured each year. So it is a year-wise data. So this time series data may be year-wise, hour-wise, even minutes-wise data is also available. If you want to make data of pollution or population anyone, so this data will be at minute-wise data is also there. So this is the example of time series. It is the export data from year 1989 to 1998. Is export data of any company. Okay. So how can you make a diagram, or you can say if you want to know what is the nature of this particular time series data. Okay. So you can make a pictorial diagram, pictorial representation of this data, time series data. So what will you do that? So you will plot year at x-axis and export quantity at y-axis. Then we will plot those points, then combine those points, and we will plot the trend line. This is called trend line. What is the trend? This is a basically line diagram. If you will join all these points, then they can make a line diagram, and it will tell what is the trend of this particular phenomena. It means export. What is the export phenomena during 1988 to 2000 or 1998? Okay. Like coordinates are P and X. This means time, comma, commodity, value of commodity. One time is 1988, and what was the value? 44. So we will make this diagram. Similarly, we will plot all the points and make it, join it, and it will give a trend line. Okay, just like this. So here you can make that from 1988 to 1990, it was increasing. Then 1990 to 92, 2 years it was stable, and after that it goes to the downward, then again upward. So you can make some insights on the basis of this data. So what is the importance? To understand the past, what happened over the last years, you can say that, and forecast the future, because there are two aspects, two important, you can say that, significance of this time series. One is to understand the behavior of past, what happened in the past, and second is forecast about the future, what will happen in the future. So past and future both are in your hand once you will study the time series analysis. So government wants to know future of unemployment rate, percentage increase in the cost of living, for companies to predict the demand for their product. So these are about the future, because for the planning or for decision making for any business or any inventory, you must know the forecasting. So there are different components of time series, basically. So which can be included in the time series data. See, these components may be trend, seasonal, cyclic, or random. These four components are, so any time series is governed by these four components. So what is trend? So trend is a long-term, so it is a long-term variation in a time series data. Like it may be the long-term tendency. It is a nothing, only a long-term tendency to increase or decrease that particular phenomena. It means if you are talking about the population of India, then what is the trend? Increasing or decreasing? It has increasing trend. So it's a long-term component, not only 1 year or 6 months. It is a long term. Okay, so this trend, it is a increasing or decreasing trend. You can say that. The next day or another component is seasonal variation. What are these seasonal variations? These seasonal variations are nothing, only the seasonal components. Okay, these are short-term fluctuations. These are short-term fluctuations. Like suppose their winter comes, then woolen cloths will be, the sale of woolen cloths will be increases. Okay, then again rainy season comes, then umbrella and raincoat will be in sale of these items will be increased. So these are the seasonal components. And what is the cyclic? Cyclic is more than, it is a cycle. That means like a business cycle. It means at a some certain point of time, it will be, some prosperity, then recession, then depression, and then recovery, and after that, it again becomes prosperous. So it is a cycle. Okay, so and the whole cycle is a 1 year. Basically, it is a 1 year, like prosperity, recession, depression, and again recovery, and then prosperity. So it is a business cycle. So it happens in a cyclic manner. And another is random component. So random component, nothing, only those components which are out of control in from human hands. So we cannot control these components. Like suppose there is a flood in a particular area, then it will, like COVID, nobody has even think about the COVID, and when it certainly comes, it has crashed all the economy of whole world. So this is the random component, which can affect the time series data. So these are the basic four components which govern the time series data. Okay, so I have just described these things. So I am also described the definitions of these. These are the components. These are the seasonal variations. Like summer, I have told you that this when summer comes, sale of ice cream and AC and cooler and these things will increases. And winter comes, then the increase of woolen cloths will increase. So these are the seasonal variations. These may be the quarterly seasonal components. These components can be removed by identifying. So why do users want seasonal adjusted data? Because actually in time series, there are two things. One is to identify the factors by which this particular time series is affected with particular component. So first of all, we can remove that component from that time series, and then only we can make the forecasting. Because unless until we cannot find out or identify that component which can affect the time series, we cannot go for the forecasting. So these are seasonal effects, like the natural factors. I have told you that, like just like COVID case, COVID case comes in 2019, December 19, 20, and it can crash all the economic of the country or world. So it is a seasonal things. And next is administrative or legal measures. Suppose there is a administrative or legal, nothing is more best example than lockdown. Suppose it is an administrative measure to prevent to stop the COVID-19, but it can highly affected the economy. So these are the possible causes: social, cultural, religion, traditions. These are the seasonal components, seasonal effects. Cyclic, as I have told you, business cycle, like prosperity, recession, depression, recovery. So it comes the cycle, whole cycle, and this cycle is basically of time period of 1 year. These are cyclic component. So irregular component or random component, I have told that these are unpredictable, random, residual fluctuations. So due to random variations like natural disasters or any unseen events happen in the future. So these are the causes of irregular effects like strikes, sampling and non-sampling errors, as you told that. Because when you collect the data, there is a sampling and non-sampling, two types of errors are there. Okay, suppose what is sampling error? Sampling error is that error which is applied, which can happen just because of applying the faulty sampling method. Okay, suppose you want to do a survey, but you are applied the wrong sampling technique. That is called sampling error. And what is the non-sampling error? Non-sampling errors are those errors which occurs due to non-response or response errors or frame errors. So the non-response is a major thing. It means a non-response or measurement errors. Like non-response, suppose if you are conducting a survey regarding your product, okay, then either people will refuse to give you the response. It is called one non-response. But at the same time, some people who met you and say that I will definitely purchase these things are very good in your product and I will definitely purchase your item. But he or she don't like that product in reality. So this is called measurement errors. This is the discrepancy between the information given by him and the actual. So this comes under the non-sampling error. So in decomposition, I have told you, in decomposition, nothing. In decomposition, we just decompose all the components of time series like trend, seasonal, cyclic, irregular. Right? If there are certain different methods. So I have told you that our aim is to understand and identify different variations so that we can easily predict the future variations separately and combined together. And look how to above complicated series could be understood as follows separately. So we just identify those factors, those components, and make it separable, and then can predict. These are certain graphs, time series. So can you imagine how all components aggregated together to form this? This is the original series. Okay, so in there, some maybe the trend, there are components, seasonal component is also there, cyclic component is also there. So we just separate all the components by using different methods. So these are the different models which are used in the time series analysis. Okay, so these are the components like T is associated with denoted by for the trend, C is for the cyclic, and I is irregular. Okay, because S is here decomposed or deseasonalized, so S is not here. But generally, we take it TI into CI into SI into II It means trend to seasonal into cyclic into irregular. So this is a multiplicative model of time series. And what is yi? Yi nothing, only the dependent variable. Okay, which you want. Only want a production of any commodity. This production depends on these three factors, not three factors, only four factors: trend into seasonal, into cyclic, into irregular. Okay, at particular time point. This one, this is very actual. So there are some smoothing techniques also. Smoothing techniques are nothing, only the techniques which can make your time series, that can be separate your these components from one to another. Just like moving average, it's a very important method, moving average method. Generally, we have in our day-to-day life, we have, suppose we have some observations and we want to find out the average. Then what technique will you apply? Which statistical tool will you apply? You just apply the arithmetic mean, geometric mean, harmonic mean, just like mean. Okay, generally arithmetic mean to get the average. But if you have a time series data, then you cannot apply the normal or simple arithmetic mean. You go for the moving average. Okay, not average, but moving average. So this moving average is nothing, only the average of consecutive time series values for a chosen period of length L. Okay, so this is used for the smoothing, like this one. Suppose we need a 3 years moving average. So for first moving average, you can, what is the formula for arithmetic mean? That is the sum of observations divided by total number of, sum of observations divided by total number of observations. Okay, so here we are taking 3 years data, that is y1, y2, y3, that is divided by 3. It is a moving average of first, but at the time of calculating second moving average, you just omit the first one, that is y2, y3 plus y4 divided by 3. So here you can omit the first, last this one data. This is called moving average, just like that. Like we have a data of year 1990 to 2001, and series means these are the values. Okay, and you find out the 3-point moving average. So what is 3 point? The first moving average will be 5 plus 6 plus 7 divided by 3. Okay, so comes to 6. Again, second 6, 7, 8 divided by 3, and again 7, 8, 10. So these are called moving averages. Okay, so this is the actual data, and these moving averages will show the forecasted or predicted data. What will be the predicted values? This one. It's like the actual data is in the blue line. What is actual data and what is the forecast? And this forecast comes from the moving average, 3-point moving average. This one. Similarly, for the 5 years, actual and forecast, you need quarterly data, you call monthly data or yearly data. These are some methods like moving average I have told you. So, but in SPSS, you don't need to do any calculation. Computer will automatically do it for you. That is, software can apply these methods and just you give the results or diagram. So you don't worry about that. I am just giving the basic concepts. So seasonality. These are the theoretical things. So I'm just now. It was just because the conceptual framework of time series. So now we will go for the hands-on SPSS to find out the forecasting, or you can say that how we can perform the time series analysis in SPSS. So can we proceed, sir?
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Anji, sir.
Okay, can we proceed? Okay. So I'm just sharing my another PPT.
So there are actually some questions.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, first we
Sir,
take the question.
now you will actually, sir, now you will be showing how to use the SPSS tool.
Yes.
So the PPT you are going to show how you are going, how we can use.
Yeah, hands-on. Actually, I just want to make
hands-on.
hands-on on SPSS.
Okay.
Yes, it's not a PPT. I'm just showing the screen and do the analysis.
Okay.
And it will be recorded, so that will be the better for the participants. They can.
So I think let's look for let's see to the procedure of hands-on first, and I think if the
Then we will take the questions in the last.
then we will take the questions, and if already if we get the answer for them, so so therefore I'm
okay, no problem. I will take the questions in the last.
Yeah, later. Yeah. So, but surely statistics is not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah, but no, it's just like a salt.
And yeah, actually,
because without statistics, without salt, just like any disk cannot be completed. So without statistics, any subject is not completed.
Sir, but हाथ तंग होता है इसमें ज़्यादा ना सबका.
Yeah, but
so because being a medico, like for us, every time whenever we do any study or whenever we are, even for a simple survey, also we are unable to decide what should be.
But now, madam, there are several statistical softwares have made the things easy.
Yeah. But still, sir, like for everyone, it is not easy to understand the concept actually.
Yes.
That is the basic difference, yeah.
And we have spent so much time for statistics.
Yes, sir.
UG, PG, and PhD, but still we know that we just know I think 25% of the total statistics.
So because we are in the negative part, negative side.
Because it's a very dynamic field. Every day you will get a new software, new method, because problems are changed, and accordingly the statistical methods are developed. You cannot apply every method on every data. So
yes, so like every time this with soft SPSS also, every time there is a new updated software.
Yeah, new updated version. Like in SPSS 25, only this time series is available.
Yes, sir. Every time for us, so we are not able to understand this SPSS only.
So actually, I have a problem with this here. Is it visible this screen? This one?
So only PPT is visible.
Oh, only PPT. It means first I have to stop the sharing.
Yes, sir.
When we stop sharing itself. Actually, I'm not very much familiar with this. Okay. For sharing Microsoft. So can anybody tell me how can I stop sharing?
Sir, just
because it is not shown in my.
So just cursor at the top of the screen.
No, I know that, but
just 1 minute.
Yeah, stop sharing. Yeah, I just got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I stopped,
Yes, sir.
and then again I will share the screen. And this is this one SPS process. So is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
So this is a screen of SPSS 25 version, which is latest one I'm using. So I will not go in the very basics of SPSS, because otherwise it will. So basically, I want to tell you that statistics, SPSS, the full form of SPSS. This is the statistical package for social sciences. So basically, it was developed by social scientists. They are applying statistics. Actually, this is the truth. This is the truth that all the statistical tools, softwares are developed by non-statisticians. Okay, because it is applied in every branch, and accordingly they can develop their softwares. So when SPSS was developed, it was developed by social scientists. They have applied the statistical tools. Okay. So SPSS has two windows actually. One is data view, another is variable view. Okay. So in variable view, basically we will define the variables which we want to which we want to analyze. So variable view, like year is one variable, the another is production, because we have two variables, and it is the type numeric with decimals, how decimals you have assigned. So I will not go in the much detail, because I'm just want to tell you the time series analysis. So this is a variable view. Okay, so we have two components, two variables. One is year and another is production. Okay, so we have a data of year-wise production of any particular crop, or you can say any commodity. So we have another one is data view. So here you can see that this is the data from 2004 to 2008. We have production data. We have a production data from 2004 to 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 years data actually. We have a 5 years data in our hand, and it is a time series data. Why? Because it is arranged in a different point of time, 2004, 5, 6, like that. Okay, so it is a time series data. So we have two objectives. One aim is to know what is the trend of this data. What is the trend of this production from 2004 to 8? Whether it was increasing, whether it was decreasing, or stable. So we will just find out the nature of production during this 2004 to 8. This is the one objective. And the second objective is to make the forecasting. And forecasting, this is a very important thing. And forecasting for what values? From 2009 to 2015. These values are not given. So on the basis of this 5-year data, we are just going to forecast these values, 2009 to 2015. Okay, so these are two our objectives. So first of all, first objective, we will just make a graph. You can say that a line graph. Line graph, you can say by line graph, you can get an idea what is the trend of production in that during the 2004 to 8. So first of all, we go for the first objective. We are going for the first objective. Okay. So this is a graph. There are certain options are there: file, edit, view, data, transform, analyze. This analyze is a most important thing in SPSS. All the statistical tools are there. Okay. So here we are want to make them line diagram. So this graph, we go to graph, then go to chart builder. Okay, and it will show some this dialog box, because variables are always variables are already defined, so we will just directly go to them. Okay, so this dialog box will appear. Okay, so we want a line diagram. Why? Because we just want to know what is the trend of the production during 2004 to 8. So we go for the line diagram here in gallery, line diagram. So line diagrams appears. So we just click line diagram and take it here, from here, and go to this one. Okay, so just select from here and drop down here in this particular area. And now these are two variables, year and production. So n-axis, what will we do? Year. So this year will be taken on the x-axis. Okay, and production will be taken as the y-axis. And then click OK. So I think is it visible to all of you? This is actually whenever we do the analysis in SPSS, so there are two basic seats are there, or you can say windows are there. One is input window and another is output window. So in output, all the results will be in output. So this is a straight line, or this is a trend line, which clearly shows that the production from 2004 to 8 is constantly increasing. It has an increasing trend. Okay, so it's all depends on the data, type of data. So now with this, you can get an idea about the trend of the production from the given values. Okay, so our first objective has been completed. So you can make, you can write in the, in your report, or you can your interpretation. There's from this line diagram, we have an idea that from 2004 to 2008, there is an increasing trend in the production. Okay, so our first objective is completed. Now we go for the second objective, that is forecasting. How we can make the forecasting for those values which are not given to us. It means from 2009 to 2015, these values are required. Okay. So for that, you go to analyze, there is an analyze option, and then go to forecasting. There is a option of forecasting. This report, descriptive statistics you can find out, and all these things are there. So all statistical techniques are given in the analyze section. So this analyze, then go to forecasting, and then create traditional models. Traditional models, time series models, which are used for the forecasting. Okay, so again, analyze, then forecasting, then create traditional models. Okay, just click over here. But this time series modeler will open this dialog box. But first of all, since this SPSS is this particular time series package has been developed in such a way that for the different time series, it means if your data is hourly basis, weekly basis, even minute basis, or quarterly basis. So this is, common for all. So for your data, you have to define your date and time. This is the first thing. You have to define the date and time. That's why this dialog box will appear. That you have to define date and time according to your data. So we just click over here, define date and time. Okay, so since our data is year-wise data, here you can see that years, quarters, days, minutes, hours. So these are different types of data. Minutes, seconds, even seconds data is also available. If you have data in seconds, then you can forecast it. So our data is years data. So we go for the click years, and then this is said that first case is. So here we will fill our first case, that is first year 2004. It is our first year, and accordingly we'll count. Okay, so we will select years, define the date and time, we select the years, and with the first year, that is 2004, and then click OK. Okay, so now in the output box, now it is defined that the following new variables are being created. These variables have been created. Okay, this format is year wise, like 2004, 2005. This has been done. Now you can do the forecasting. So these forecasting will be according to this year wise data. Okay, so again go to the analyze, then go to the forecasting, then create traditional models. Okay, now this time series modeler has been activated because you have defined the date and time. Okay, so first will comes the variables, then statistics, plots, output. So this basically, this time series modeler is nothing, only a package which is developed in SPSS for time series analysis. Okay, so here you have to variables, define the variables. What is the dependent variables and what is the independent variables? Okay, so what is dependent variable here? Production, because we are talking about production. So production is our dependent variables, and independent variable will be year. So we are talking about the year-wise production. So production is dependent and year is independent. Okay, then again go to statistics. Which type of statistics you want? Like there are different things are there, but since we are just making the simple forecasting, so and we are just predicting one method because there are many methods. So we just click as it is like stationary R square and goodness of fit. It means how your model is fit on the data. Okay, so variables we decide, statistics we did keep it as it is. Plots means which type of particular graph you want to show. Okay, so we want series data. Okay, then observed values and forecast values. Okay, it means observed values are those values which are already given to us. That is from 2004 to 2008. These are called observed values. And what are the forecast values? Those values which are predicted or forecasted values. So we need both type of values in our graph. Okay, and then output filter as it is. Then go for the save. It is a very important option. So it means what variables you want in your output sheet. So predicted values, we need predicted values, year-wise predicted values. Okay, and then there is a lower confidence limit. This is the lower confidence, and this is the upper confidence. So these are limits will describe that your predicted, what is the range of your predicted values from what is the minimum to maximum. This is the predicted values. Okay, so in save we will click over all these three things. Predicted values it will provide, which is our basic objective, and secondly, in additional, it will provide the limits also. What is the limit of predicted values, lower and upper. Then options, so make it 95% confidence interval. So it will be given as it is. So don't disturb anything. Just in the save, click all these and plots and variables. So in these two things you have to make change. So save, then option, and then just OK. So time series modeler, it means time series analysis has given this type of output. Okay, so this is the model type. Halt's model can be used for time series. Okay, and these are the particular values. Like what is the model की values क्या है आपकी r square, root mean square. So these are things, but these are not so important. Okay, the most important thing is this one, this graph. This graph is a very important. So whenever you write your paper or any article and you want to you have done the time series analysis, then you just click on this particular picture graph, and what is those? It tells us about the observed values and predicted values. Both the values are there. Okay, from 2004 to 2008, these are the given values. Right, and on the basis on proceed to that, this is the forecast values. Okay, so this diagram can be used, and if you want to make any change in this diagram, then you just double click over here, you get such type of things. So now you can change it like date, change it like year, and whenever you double, it will be activated. Number, can take it production. Click over here. Yeah, production. Here, production. Here you can make certain things. These changes can be done. It's not a big thing. You just click over, double click and make it change any diagram. But the most important thing, which I just want to tell you, those values which we want to in our second objective, or this time series has given these values or not. That 2008 to 2015, what will be the forecasting for observed value, forecasted values of the production. Okay, so now go to the output of the SPSS data view. Okay, we have the data there. So here you can see that initially we have two columns only, year and production. Okay, and from 2004 to 8, this data was given, and 2009 onwards, it was not given to us, and we just want to forecast it. Okay, so here this has been newly developed when we define the time and date, but this is the predicted values. This is the predicted production model. These are the predicted values from 2009 to 2015. So these values are given values. Okay, so here initially it was not given to us, but now these are given to us. These are the predicted values. Here you can copy and paste. Okay. So these are the predicted values or forecasted values. So you can mention in your report that the observed or predicted values from 2009 to 15 are given over here. You can make it highlight, or you can also bold it. Okay, and what are the others? These are the LCL. It means lower confidence limits of this one. So it means your predicted value will start from 4,803, and it will the maximum limit will be 6589. But the actual predicted value is this one. Okay, so these are the values. It was our basic objective. So our both objective has been fulfilled. Trend line we have already get from the line diagram, and these predicted values has been obtained by using the time series analysis. Okay, so it was about the, if you want to, then I can also repeat. Otherwise, it has been recorded in your video. So now it was all about my session.
Okay.
If any doubt, any confusion, or any question, you can ask.
Am I audible to you, sir?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Sir, there are actually many questions. Attendees
Okay,
have, you need to answer to the attendees. Sir, first was like, how
So
do we
can I see the chat box? No,
sir,
it
if
is
you
Yes,
not
sir, you
visible.
can see, sir, in
But
question
it
and
is
answer
not.
box. Sir.
Yeah, it is not visible to me actually. Chat. Yeah, this one I think no. So you can ask. Please read.
Okay. So you want me to ask or you want to read from the chat box?
No, actually, chat is not visible to me.
Okay. So,
More
sir,
of.
actually, first question was like, someone wants to know how to install it. The basic
Oh.
basic thing, how to install the software, and is it available for free? Which version? Like, but that.
Actually, SPSS is a paid software. Okay, it is, you have to pay the license fee for this one. So it is ideally you purchase from your department, in your department, and if you want to work on it for some time to learn it, then you can download it, a free trial version for 14 days. Okay.
Okay.
It's free
Sir,
for 14 days trial, and installation is not a big thing. There are links are given there. You just click and just for the installation, you always remember one thing.
Yes, sir.
Just click on next, next, and next.
Okay.
Every software will be installed.
Yeah, that's true, sir. That's true. But pirated versions and
Yeah, pirated versions is not preferred because for this is academic forum, so I will not recommend any pirated version. But you can take the free trial version for 14 days.
Otherwise, like individually also, we have the option to buy.
Yes, you can buy individually also, and it is not very
expensive.
Costly, expensive.
Okay, sir. Sir, there is another question. I think it has been answered. Like one is like actually the basic thing is we are not able to understand most of the time like what test to apply, how much should be the sample size for the study, then how much what should be the like if we are conducting a survey or maybe if we are doing the on patient study, so what should be the exact sample size?
Look, actually, madam, it is a totally different thing from they are asking.
Okay.
Actually, it is a time series analysis, and here at least.
What test to apply? What test to apply? Is it applicable for today's session?
Yeah, it is a test actually. Yeah, it's for today's session, and it's a new technique. You can time series analysis. Okay, and I just want it's a mixed kind of audience is here, na?
Yes,
so
sir.
I just want to tell you that suppose you are a person from the environment, okay?
Okay.
And so on the basis of these last 10 years values pollution level,
yes,
you can make a forecasting about what will be happen, what is going to happen in upcoming 10 years.
Yes, sir.
So, okay. So it can be applicable in every branch. And what is the sample size he is asking? So sample size nothing, only a time point. At least you need 3 or 4. You need 4 time points data. And this data can be for the, I think I have shown you that it may be the second wise, minutes wise, hour wise data, day wise data, month wise data, year wise data. So it's up to you.
Okay. And sir, whether, like you have told about the forecasting, so someone has asked whether forecasting has become more efficient nowadays. What are the tools that have been added to achieve this?
Yeah, actually these tools are actually it's a statistical tool, that is a time series,
Okay.
and this tool is used for the forecasting. So suppose we want to make some forecasting about the what will be the COVID cases in next 5 months or 6 months. Then you can also use this one in medical environment, as I have already told you.
Mm-hmm.
So in every branch you can apply, but the thing is that you have a time series data,
Okay.
and this time may be from second to year.
Okay. And sir, I think maybe the person has got the answer about how to make frequency polygon and give charts on SPSS. So maybe the one you have told about, maybe we can
Yeah, I have told in the graph. You
Yes,
just go to the graph, and there are different types of graph are there.
Okay. And sir, people want to know the basics of SPSS data. Actually, I feel we need to, we will be needing one more day from you, the whole day workshop
Yeah.
on
Actually, I need
SPSS itself.
SPSS basics of
Yeah,
SPSS.
yeah, because
That
if we want to learn basics of SPSS data, so this time
that
is not
yeah
enough.
yeah. Because
And
you know that we can do a basic course on SPSS, and
yeah,
from data entry to data type, and how can we enter the data in SPSS. So from installation to all these things.
like someone has asked, like how we can use it to analyze quantitative data. How can we know which test to apply? So I think for that we need to have elaborate session.
Yeah, so definitely, madam. Actually, it's a little bit advanced statistical technique,
Mm-hmm.
but it is very applicable to everyone.
Yes, sir. Ravi, if you want to ask, Dr. Ravi, if you want to ask any question or if you have something in your mind, you can please share your views or you can ask.
I think that maximum questions have we covered, but
Yes.
there is one very one question from our student. What is the difference between the MS Excel and the SPSS, and which is better?
Yeah, actually, in Excel, for the basic calculations or basic data analysis, it is it right. But if you want to make some sophisticated statistical analysis like time series, like any other regression and all these things, so that are not possible in Excel. If you want to apply the t-test, f-test, and all these things, that are okay in Excel.
Okay,
But
so
you
that
want-
can okay. And so, like nowadays, most of us are focusing on the surveys or the studies based on COVID.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely,
that is the
definitely.
only prime focus nowadays. Like COVID vaccine, what is going to be the efficacy of this and that, and
Definitely.
comparison and all. So, is it
Definitely.
like this? Is we can use this software for that purpose also?
Yeah, definitely. You can make some regression analysis or the factors. Suppose you want to make a study that which factors are affecting the vaccination.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the thinking of people regarding the vaccination? So
Yes.
you can make a questionnaire and make the Google form and collect the data, and then you can make a regression analysis, and you can identify those factors which are affecting the vaccination process.
Okay. Sir, I think most of the questions have been answered. And
Yes, ma'am. There is one, I think, remaining, ma'am. I think.
okay, yeah.
I'm sure.
Please, Dr. Ravi.
Sir, Dr. Priya is asking, if we are studying email marketing impact, then how can forecast?
What, sir? I'm sorry, I'm not
If
able to understand.
we are studying email marketing impact, then how we can forecast?
Yeah, definitely. If we are marketing, actually it's generally and widely used by the for these management students or management researchers to study the finance and what is the economy in the coming months. Suppose you are from the marketing field, then you want to know what is the effect of different factors on the marketing, like what is the look, what is the effect of advertisement, okay, and different factors which will affect your marketing or sale of your commodity or product. So you can also analyze that. But the thing is that you have a time series data. It means if you have a 10 years data in your hand about the sale of your product, then you can also make the prediction for the upcoming 5 or 10 years by using this forecasting technique.
Okay.
And there is another question from Manu Fogart. What is the difference between these two software, SPSS or SPPS and Statistica? Which one is good?
SPSS and
Statistica. Yeah.
Statistica. Okay. So actually, I'm not very much used use that software. But nowadays there are so many free softwares are there,
Yes,
just
sir,
like
yes, sir.
R, just like R, Python. So lot of softwares are there which are freely available. So you can also go that softwares, and you have to pay nothing.
There is a one also from Sonia. Yeah, they are asking to repeat how to had entered the first year 2004 in Graph. So for this question, I can say one thing. We will share the recording of whole session. Those who have attended the today's lecture, if they are facing any problem, we will share the recording of the session. If then they have another question from the recording and the today's session, they can mail us and send on our WhatsApp, and then I will ask Dharmendra Yadav sir on the mail, and definitely I will convey this answer to all the candidates. And now I would like to invite for the vote of thanks, Dr. Pauline, ma'am.
Yes, yes, Dr. Ravi. First of all, I would, on my behalf only, I would like to say that, sir, we will, I am sure we will be needing you one day in the future as well, because there are many questions which need to be answered, and that can be only done. We can only do justice to that when we, learn the whole software from you, how to use, how from the very beginning, from the installation till the like every aspect of it.
Yeah, definitely, ma'am.
Yes, sir. And sir, it was indeed a treat listening to you. The way you delivered your knowledge, I'm sure it has enlightened each one of the listener with valuable information. Thank you so much for being the part of our learning. We would definitely
Thank you.
to hear more from you in the future. I also thank and congratulate our organizing team for the successful session. And in the last, the audience, thank you so much for being the patient listeners and for making the show a success.